Hey, Keith, where you know where all those semiconductors are going?
I don't know. Tell me, Jay.
I think into every single Lexus that's coming out over the next 10 years. That's why we have a shortage, and we'll get into a little bit of that. What are we talking about today, Major?
So today, right now, we are going to talk about the new LEXUS TEAMMATE kind of Advanced Drive.
Right.
That Lexus just revealed on their LS 500.
And isn't it pretty exciting?
Oh, it is very smart, and it's very exciting to think about.
It absolutely is.
My job is just to sit here and hold the microphone and let you guys talk this session through.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's get started.
All right. Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So yeah. All right. So we were excited to have Side Shot back on today. He continues to bring to the front of the line, if you will, subject matters that are very interesting to him, as well as us. But why this is important that Side Shot is involved is because, again, I've said this in past podcasts, that he is the generation that will be targeted for this technology, the amazing technology advances that we are making right now in our very right in front of our eyes right now that's happening. So Lexus and Toyota in general have been working on this TEAMMATE, which is basically a driver assist type of technology that is a lot different than some of the others that are out on the market, and seems to be a little bit more advanced than others that are out there on the market. So I'm pretty excited about that, and we're going to touch on how they're going to be pushing the updates for the owners of these vehicles, what type of privacy you're going to be giving up by owning one of these vehicles that uses the technology that it takes to get this stuff working and keep it on track, and what it is by design and what it is not by design. And Keith and I have been preaching over and over again, please throw your tangerines or your oranges out the window, because we are not there yet. And there is a reason why we're not there yet. We need exactly the technology that Lexus and Toyota has just come out with in order to help build that bridge to fully autonomous driving. We are not there yet, so let's get going.
All right.
Well, and that's okay.
No,
well, that is why.
See, told you, I'm just here to hold the mic.
I love it.
Instead of autopilot or like self-driving, because it's like a teammate that can help you drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for making my only valid point of this. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if I'm going to let him back. So before we get any further, thank you to Rick and Ryan at Toyota and Lexus for providing us with some info on the LS500H and TEAMMATE. So yeah, so this is my man here just makes a very valid point. They're going down a very specific path of development with their enhanced driving capabilities, their AI assisted, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah. There's three
and they're
components.
Being very clear. Yeah. This is not autopilot.
No.
This is not. So Toyota and Lexus basically have said, hey, that's too dangerous. It's going to take too long to get there, because they've been listening to us say the same thing, I think, Jay.
Absolutely,
right?
They have. In fact, I was watching some of our fellow YouTubers, specifically Tim Volk over at Driven, had a video that he took a test drive in one of these new LS500Hs, and the Lexus representative that was actually driving the vehicle while they were, giving the review of it and talking about the system itself, basically said that he felt that there were certain manufacturers out there that have not done a very good job And I think it rhymes with Wrestler or Mesla or whatever. But
Right.
they
That
haven't
company.
exactly. They haven't done a very good job of communicating to their users, their owners of what autopilot actually is. It is not an autonomous driving vehicle. You have to be in control of the vehicle, or very
Yeah.
near in control. I
Well,
should say.
if you compare it to where that term is frequently used, like in an airplane, you know, and this one plays Microsoft Flight Simulator all the time. He was showing me last night, like, look, Dad, set your nav autopilot, set your vertical stable, you know, your vertical, set your airspeed. It'll your heading indicator. It will lock all of that, and then you go in the back and, you know, martini shaken, not stirred, right? I mean,
Right.
But that's not the way it is in automobiles. So one of you two, and I forget, I get you two confused all the time, pointed out that there were three very specific things that the teammate feature, what service? What are we calling
well,
this? What is
it's
advanced
actually,
driver assistance technology?
That's it, and there's three components to it.
Okay.
The first component is advanced drive. The second component to it is advanced park, and the third component is incapacitated driver detection.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So, hey, just to keep this interesting, let's start in the middle.
Okay.
You know, because I like to mix it up from time to time.
Sure. Let's go.
So this advanced park thing, and I think let's kind of start with what I would perceive as the least drastic, the least amount of innovation to the most amount of innovation. So, you know, Ford's done some parking stuff for a while. Some other companies have. But you said, I'm really excited about this advanced park thing. Why?
I always think the advanced park is really cool. That's something very cool to me. I don't know if it's because I like how close it gets to the cars and how well it can do it, or just how smart it is that it can park for you.
Yeah.
I will say this, that I think that's a good point that you make. I don't think that humans, there are some drivers out there that are far better drivers than others, but a lot of us tend to have issues with understanding depth. You got to understand depth perception, which is a key component to being able to drive a vehicle and understand how far things are away from you. But this is a technology, the advanced parking side of this, which takes all of that out of it for you and does a really good job of it because of how it's set up with the LIDAR and the radar sensors that it has all around this vehicle, which is very important. And that's what we're going to get into a little bit about, some of the sensors and how this is working together to allow the machine to learn. Again, it's machine learning.
Yeah. So before we get into that next point, ladies and gentlemen, what Sideshot and Jay just summed up to you is that Toyota and Lexus know that you've forgotten everything you learned when you took your driver's test at 16, including parallel parking.
This is true.
And they know how bad you are at it, so they've just decided they don't want you wrecking their beautiful flagship automobile, and they're
Right.
going to take over the parking job for you.
Exactly. So
Right.
yes, exactly. So just so you know that right now the Lexus LS 500H is the only vehicle that is equipped with this. However, we know that there are models that are upcoming, like the NX, that are going to be down the road. They're going to be releasing this gradually, and the reason they're doing it in this form is because they need more feedback from the human interaction with the machine, with the software, to tweak it and fine tune it as we go along.
Well, and you start with your flagship for another reason, and this has been done in the industry for a long time. It's expensive, and this technology will trickle down as it gets refined and as we continue to develop. And you will see it in other Toyota models, but you typically start with the bleeding edge stuff in your flagship models.
Right, absolutely.
Now, the advanced driver stuff. So let's get on to your second feature here, your second component, as you called it.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways we can slice this, Jay. Where do you want to go first?
Well, just first of all, there are a lot of moving pieces that are involved in the driver assist side of this thing. Okay, and the one thing that consumers need to understand, there's a reason why. Again, Sideshot brought it up. in the beginning of this segment that it is appropriately named Teammate. Why is that? Because Teammate usually indicates not one, but more than either two or more individuals working together to achieve a goal, a common goal. Okay?
It's not your pilot,
right?
It's your teammate.
It's not doing it for you, it's helping you, and you're helping it. Okay? So there are a lot of safety measures that are put in place for this to actually be a success. And I mean, if you want to touch on some of those, like the cruise and how it works.
Yeah. So first and foremost, before I can tell you're ready to go on this,
and I'm excited.
It only works on what they refer to as limited access roads. Think highways, freeways.
Like Super Cruise.
Yes, like GM Super Cruise. The
Correct.
reason I think that Toyota has chosen to go that route is because they have the data. Toyota has been sitting back, everyone, and watching what has worked and what hasn't worked. We've seen this on the EV side. They weren't the first to jump into that.
Right.
And so they're looking at the some of the investigations that the NHTSB is doing right now, the Highway Transportation Safety.
Well, and yeah.
And they're going, hey, no. We know that a lot of these self-assisted driving accidents happen on roads that are not limited access. So we're only going to let this work in limited access areas.
And they're using, I've been held up for a while, so I have a lot of things to say. So they're using maps like TomTom, and there's some others that they haven't listed yet. If you know any of those. But also...
But what do they call that? Let's make sure that's high definition mapping, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I know this was a while ago, but like you cut me off several times. And then
whose show is this?
I think it might be becoming his. Can you just move out of the way, Keith, and get it over with?
Apparently.
Like you were talking about bringing it, to the NX,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just thinking about how Lexus is only just now putting it on like their most expensive $100,000 car, flagship car, but companies like Ford have it like on the Escape.
Have some of it.
Right.
Self-park.
But this goes back to my point. Right. That's something that Ford started in, I want to say they started in like the Contour line, like way back.
It was. Fusion. The Fusions. Yes.
But see, this is Toyota's doing things differently, right? Like as far as this kind of stuff goes, they're doing it on their Lexus line first, and they have not been traditionally. It has not been important to them to be first to market with a feature like that. And,
right.
But they're very confident in the capabilities of this thing. So there's things like. If you take your eyes off of... Okay, so can I talk about the heads-up display?
I was hoping you were going to go there, which is pretty amazing.
So they've got sensors on the inside of the vehicle. Now, Jay, I know you want to get to the sensors on the outside that monitor your bridge of your nose, facial features, eyes, where your eyes are focused, that sort of thing, if your eyes are open. And then the driver has, and this is the way that they've kind of figured out to keep your attention. Mm-hmm. The driver has a heads-up display that's only visible to them. If you're sitting in the passenger seat, you can't see it.
You do not see it. You can't even, it's very difficult to even try to film that and capture that on camera. It's so like...
And it's superimposed over in your field of view in the bottom of the windshield, or if you're in the UK, the windscreen. Basically, it's giving you feedback from that teammate data. It's telling you what to do. It's telling you when it's willing to take over. It's telling you when you need to take over, what's up ahead. And that heads-up display is pretty amazing, man.
It is pretty amazing. It will even change lanes. It will detect for you whether or not it's okay for you to change lanes. And it will change lanes for you, but before it does it for you, it makes you look to the blind spot and detect that you're looking, and then it will signal you to let you know that they're going to be. It will even turn the turn signal on and get over in the lane.
Yes, it signals for you. It does all of that, but you have to look at that mirror in the whatever side you're turning. If you're changing lanes below.
And that's something new for these cars, which also brings me to, like you were saying, they just watched everyone do their thing to build up what they were going to do. I see it as like a combination of, well, not quite Blue Cruise because that's not out yet, or whatever it's going to be called. But Ford's features Cadillac's Super Cruise and Tesla Autopilot.
Right.
Like, you can see things like it looks at your face, like Super Cruise, and it can change lanes for you, well, like all of the others, but it has features from all of them that they're just putting...
Yep. And in addition to that, it is very obvious to me that Toyota and Lexus have sat back and looked at this cat and mouse game that's going on with these jokers and the tangerines and the steering wheels and the Teslas and all that. And they're going, okay, how do we design ours so that we don't put those kinds of safety risks in play where people can defeat it with,
you can't
bagged weights tied to the steering wheel. Or
it
whatever.
It is absolutely impossible with this technology, this software. They have built in these safety measures that will not allow you to override the system. But more so than anything, it's for safety reasons for you as a driver and for other drivers to be safe that might be involved in an incident around you or maybe around you. Let's say you pass out in the car, okay?
Okay.
This is a really, really neat feature, and this is the incapacitated driver detection system that they have. And it's there for a couple of reasons. One, for that, if say you have a heart attack or a medical issue that you pass out and you're unable to...
Or you just fall asleep.
Or you just fall asleep, right. You're unable to operate the vehicle. This thing will detect that, but it immediately slows you down, and it detects what is around it and safely will get you over to the right shoulder of the road, turn on emergency signals and flashers, stop the vehicle, and it will also shoot out an emergency call from the vehicle so that you will have emergency vehicles headed your way or help coming your way.
Because that LS500 has the concierge service, that's already built in.
That's right.
And Lex has been doing that for a while.
Yes.
So why not, right? It's going to call for help for you. Now, so the HD map data that you guys briefly mentioned earlier, there's another aspect to that which goes back to your comment earlier, Jay, which was the AI element.
Right.
It's learning routes and it's watching real-time traffic data and it's using that data to recommend on its own lane changes ahead of time, like a couple miles down the road if necessary, routes maybe based on your... And, one of the things they stressed was put in, people don't put in their home address to their nav system. People don't put in their work address to their nav system. Lexus said, hey, if you do that, you give it the opportunity to learn those routes and watch so you can actually use the benefit of real-time traffic and it will get you there as quickly as possible through route calculation.
And again, the key to this is machine learning, okay?
Yep.
We have to teach these things what we know by our habits, how we react to things, what we're looking for as we're driving. These are key to that eventually becoming fully autonomous down the road. And again, we're a long way away from it. Trust me when I say this. But if everybody will get it in their thick skulls that this is absolutely a driver assist. It is your teammate in the cockpit of this vehicle to help you get safely from point A to point B, and to enjoy your time in the vehicle. Let's face it. You might want to, if you're on a freeway somewhere on a 500-mile trip, and you've been across country many times, Keith, and side shot on Interstate 40 or 90 where there's just long miles of straightness, right? And 3-4 lane highways where a system like this can really give you an opportunity to like rest your hands or rest your feet.
You can take your hands off the wheel and grab a drink or play slug bug or whatever, right? It's just it's just that you can't it wants you to look. It wants you to pay attention. You don't want to drive your Tesla, call Lyft or Uber. Those guys, a lot of those have Teslas and they'll come drive you around in the back seat. Just stop risking everybody else's life. So, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Jay. Any parting thoughts, comments, details, features?
Well, yeah. There's been a lot of people not really understanding what is going on in the auto industry. I've seen a lot of comments. I've heard a lot of negative comments coming from people who don't understand what's going on in the auto industry, especially when it comes to this type of technology. I can't learn this. I don't want that. I ain't computer literate, and
you want me to translate that for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hate learning.
Right, exactly. So, and I've seen that. I saw one comment that says, I hope they get this right because, all the steps you have to take to use this, all these gadgets, makes no sense to me. I would rather just drive it myself. Well, you're not getting the big picture here, okay? So don't go buy this car. Go ahead and go buy the base model, whatever, and just enjoy your white knuckle driving and your pedal to the metal for 10 hours down a freeway and without relaxing a little bit. So I personally am embracing this technology. I think it's fantastic, and if it's used like it should be used, then you're in a good position. Let me just give you this, okay? Superconductor shortages, semiconductor shortages, chips, microchip shortages, all those things. According to a presentation that was recently given, a modern car is equipped with as many as 50 ECUs. That's electronic control units, right? And up to 1,000 semiconductors. The number of lines of code per vehicle is rapidly increasing over the last decade and will continue to do so even faster. What started from less than 500 lines of code in the early 2000s will reach close to 8,000 lines of code by 2025, and that's according to Toyota's forecast.
Wow.
For this reason, the automaker has around 3,000 people working on a software development together with its technology branches, which is Woven Planet, who is the developer of the software, which is probably going to be used in other vehicles, but Toyota is the one heading this technology up with Woven Planet. If you add the entire Toyota group, the number of workers associated with the software increases to more than 18,000 workers just because of this type of technology. The semiconductors, man, 1,000 semiconductors per vehicle. You just think about that. One vehicle has 1,000 semiconductors. Go out and I challenge everybody to go out and Google how many vehicles are on the road, say from 2015 to 2022 or 2021. Do the math and add 1,000 to each vehicle. And you want to know why we have a semiconductor shortage? That's why. And everything else is going electronic. So there you go.
Remember how ridiculous, I don't even know if Sideshot knows who this is, but we watched the TV show Knight Rider and we went, yeah, this is really cool, but it's not going to ever happen. And look at how close we've gotten to that actual, to the capabilities in that vehicle,
right?
Today.
Yeah, I know, man. Now, are you guys aware of the Arene operating system?
No.
It's going to be very similar. It's going to be competing with Microsoft and Apple, but it is an operating system specifically developed for vehicles. Okay? Okay, and this is what's exciting about this. Keith, you and I have said, I think 2 years ago, one of the first podcasts we ever had, I said, you know what? It won't be long before you're going to be buying a vehicle and you'll get a phone with it and you'll have to get an app and a subscription. That is exactly what's happening here. And the reason why that is because it helps Lexus's and Toyota's consumer experience be an amazing, seamless, flawless experience with this technology. And you are, by owning one of these vehicles, helping Toyota achieve that. And we said it. Why are there $2.5 million Koenigseggs out there? Because you have to have people who are willing to invest the money into these types of technologies, so we eventually down the road in 5 to 10 years see it in your car that you are driving down the street today. That's why we do these things, people. So don't shy away from technology.
I hate to be the one to break this to you, but automobiles are not human. They have no lineage or personality.
I wonder why I keep forgetting that.
All right. So, do you want to tell everybody?
Yeah, how can they get to us?
How they can get to us and what they need to do?
So you can go to partscountergurus.com/YouTube.
YouTube.com/partscountergurus. Yeah, it's all right.
And it would help us if you would subscribe and make the red subscribe button gray and turn on all notifications and like all of our videos, because that helps us so much. And it makes me happy, it makes you happy, it makes Mr. J happy, and it helps us do our thing.
Hey, help a brother out. We're trying to put a kid through college here, okay?
All right, thanks for watching, everybody.